Oh, chat, by the way, I wanted to show you a big, the impossible happened. The
Workers
impossible
at a Volkswagen
happened. Far left shows you how to do it. The far left took over the United Auto Workers, and we've already notched our first victory. Sean Fain for president.
Workers at a Volkswagen plant in Chattanooga, Tennessee voted overwhelmingly to join the United Auto Workers Union, marking a major breakthrough for the labor movement in America. On Friday, some 73% of workers at the Tennessee plant voted in favor of joining the UAW. This is the first time that a foreign car maker's plant in the South has voted to unionize. Now, this is a huge deal because the American South has been skeptical and even hostile toward labor unions for decades. Republican leaders and the business community in the South have warned for years that unionizing would mean a loss of jobs. And this Chattanooga Volkswagen plant had previously voted against joining the UAW twice, in 2014 and again in 2019. All of this comes about 5 months after UAW workers ratified historic new contracts with record wage gains and improved benefits at the big three automakers in Detroit. With this win out of Tennessee, the UAW will expand its focus to other southern plants, hoping to organize at least half a dozen more over the next 2 years. Another vote will take place next month at a Mercedes-Benz plant in Alabama. Joining me now to talk about the power of American labor movement is Sarah Nelson, International President for the Association of Flight Attendants. And while you're not an auto worker, Sarah, there are similarities between the auto workers and the Auto Workers Union in the North and the sort of things that have gone on with flight attendants and airline workers. There's a lot of history here, and this feels really monumental to me.
This is monumental, Ali. This is an extraordinary win, but it is coming off the backs of the strike and showing the American worker that we can fight and we can change the conditions in this country. Every single person across the country is working 2 and 3 jobs to survive. Forced overtime, our time and our money has been taken from us. And so this is not just a fight in the South, although the South is really where we've got to win big, because this is where workers have been exploited the most, oftentimes to attract companies from outside the country and to bring those companies in on the backs of the workers who have subsidized those companies with low wages and a lot more time on the job.
Sarah, talk to me about the threats. During the strike, the thing that came out was always, you're going to lose your jobs. In fact, some of the automakers started shutting down plants and laying off workers. That's always the threat. Prices will go up. You'll lose jobs. Bad for everyone. It has worked in the past as a fear-mongering tactic. What's changed in the last year or two?
What's changed is that workers see that that tactic is a tactic to continue to make us desperate for this work, to make us feel lucky that we should have a job, rather than helping these companies understand that they should feel lucky to have our work. And so workers are saying it has gone backwards for so long, and the only place that we're seeing a difference is in corporate greed. This is all of our work, all of our time has been pushed to Wall Street. It has been pushed to billionaires. And if we don't take a stand, it's never going to change. So those threats of closing those plants is a near-term threat. But what UAW was able to do was to lock in long-term job security and even job security as the EV industry continues to grow.
And we saw threats or we saw strikes or threats of strikes in the last year, and in many cases, remarkable successes that came out of them, from the Teamsters, from the United Auto Workers, from SAG-AFTRA. In your industry, there were several of those close calls in some cases. What's the issue with the South, and why is there movement in the South that we've not seen?
Look, I think we're seeing movement in the South because people are just really hurting. And they're fed up. The pandemic showed us that not only have we been treated as a cost line item with all of these companies, but actually that we were treated as disposable. You had people in meat packing plants being forced to go in there, and you had executives laughing about who was going to be the first worker to die from COVID. So we have seen very clearly that we're in this together across industries. Flight attendants are fighting right now for record-breaking contracts, and just like the auto workers were. And we need a giant step forward because we're also facing legacy sexism that has kept the value of our jobs lower than it should be. We're fighting to get paid for our time at work. This is a major issue across industries that workers are forced to do work where they're not paid at all. And so these are some of the same issues that we're fighting across the board in every industry. And when other workers see that workers are winning, that encourages them to stand up. We're organizing 28,000 flight attendants at Delta Airlines. And I can tell you, they were watching this vote. They were watching to see that.
Please help analyze the UAW doing anti-EV stuff. It's not.
Workers in the South could win. That's a Southern.
The reality is right now that if the United States is going to make its climate change targets, we need to get rid of Joe Biden. Hillary Clinton just posted something so fucking unbelievable, I couldn't believe it was real. Vote Biden so we could catastrophically miss our climate change targets. A Trump election could add 4 billion tons to U.S. emissions by 2030. Notice how, if you look at the projections, you see this like red shaded area, this blue shaded area. That is the area of uncertainty. You notice how the area of uncertainty is almost touching each other? So the effect of Biden's policies, the sum total is by 2050, it could plausibly be the same as if Trump was elected. The sum total of your harm reduction is the gap between those two curves. Look at the target. Look at where Biden is. And with the way Biden is adding a bunch of sanctions and tariffs to solar panels made in China and batteries made in China and technology coming from China, who is the world leader in high-speed rail and renewable energy, Joe Biden just approved a $2 trillion oil export terminal that's going to export 2 million barrels of oil a day. 2 million exported oil. That means higher prices for Americans and climate change infrastructure baked in for decades. Vote Biden so we can catastrophically miss our climate change targets. How did HRC lose her election? And you want to see something, chat? This is how much liberals believe in free speech. Accounts Hillary Clinton followed or mentioned can reply.
Company based in Atlanta. This meant something to them. This spoke to their heart. This is their communities. They know people in those plants. They often have brothers or sisters or mothers or fathers or uncles, aunts, and they can relate to this. So this is very much, you know, a connection between workers and the basic connection around humanity and what we have to stand up for and expect that this economy needs to be built for us, not for the billionaires.
Sarah, great to see you. Thank you this morning. I know you made some accommodations to join us this morning, so we're deeply appreciative of that. Sarah Nelson is the international president of the Association of Flight Attendants, CWA, AFL-CIO.
Hey, everyone. MSNBC has a new and improved app. You'll get real-time alerts and analysis, live blogs, in-depth essays, video highlights, and the best 2024 election coverage. Download the new MSNBC app. Here's how to do it. You tap on the App Store on your phone. You hit search on the bottom right corner. You type in MSNBC.
Boomers, download our app, please. Please, boomers.
You click on Get or the cloud icon.
Please, boomers.
And enjoy it.
Please. All right. I want to show you more perfect union. Oh, where the fuck is this? Okay. Give me a sec. Apparently I closed the tab. Not cool. Not good. Oh wait, Comrade Wilson? Chat, look at these people and tell me that the left is irrelevant.
USA, I don't know what to say. UAW. Assembly came through. Paint came through. Battery came through.
Okay, this is probably, we're out of order. We should watch this first so you know what's going on.
You know, many of the talking heads and the pundits have said to me repeatedly before we announced this campaign, you can't win in the South. They said Southern workers aren't ready for it. They said non-union auto workers didn't have it in them. But you all said, watch this. You all moved the mountain. Another mountain moved. Another thing people said we can't do, and we've done it because we stood together in solidarity and we stood up for justice. You know, a few weeks back I came down here to meet with all of you and talk about this fight. And I remember telling you all then that there's a path to victory. But nobody can walk that path for you. You have to walk it yourself. And tonight, you all took a giant, historic first step on that path. But you know, and we all know, the real fight begins now. The real fight is getting your fair share. The real fight is the fight to get more time with your families. The real fight is the fight for our union contract. And I can guarantee you one thing. This international union, this leadership, this membership, all over this nation has your back in this fight. And as we begin this next chapter, I want you guys to remember one thing again. No one's going to do it for you. Stand down! You're going to win what you're willing to fight for. And as Matthew 17:20 states, and I'm going to quote this, truly I tell you, if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move.
So they have one chat. This has been the white elephant, the white whale of the labor movement. The UAW is organizing foreign auto workers, and they have successfully won, and they won big.
Volkswagen workers in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Before we go on, chat, now that all the Destiny fans have left, I wanted to let you know that I will be going on Mark Lamont Hill's stream tonight, the night school, at 10:30 EST. You woke up with Mike from PA. You need to go to bed with Mike from PA. So I want all of you to open this already. This is my link. Do my link. Do my link. Don't use Reese's Pieces link. Reese's, stop posting. Jeez. Use this link. And hit that, make sure you hit that notify me. Make sure you are there and ready to go from the Mark Lamont Hill Night School. Mike from PA, hot topics and viewer Q&A. I can't wait. Get you some caffeine. 7:30 Pacific, 10:30 EST, the Night School. Make sure you're getting there, you're hitting that notification, you hit that follow, you hit that like button, and you are there and ready to rumble. I will make sure you're also in my Discord. I'll make sure to announce it there as well. All right. Let's go back to more union W's.
He just won their union with the UAW.
I mean, this is going to be in history books down the road. This is
be right back.
Huge, forever huge.
We understand that the world's watching us. You know, there's a labor movement in this country. You know, we're poised to be the first domino of many to fall.
I think it's a great push for the entire South, and people will follow suit.
We said everywhere around the world has a union, except here. We do not want to go down in history on that, not on our watch.
This win is historic. We haven't seen workers at a non-union automaker successfully unionize in decades. Not to mention, we're in the South. Up until now, corporations and the politicians that they've bought around here have kept wages low, regulations loose, and unions out. This win is a direct blow to how the South has done business for years. Getting here didn't happen overnight. There were many failures along the way, but without a doubt, this is new era territory. So we spent a week down here talking with the workers who built this movement about how they pulled it off and what they hope comes next.
From the very beginning, it was clear that we were doing something that was going to be hard.
The word union was spoken in whispers and dark corners at first when I started, you know, and it took off like wildfire.
Can you tell us the condensed version of how we got to this moment today?
So this is our fourth vote, first one in 2014.
There wasn't really a whole lot of energy back then, at least not from where I was standing in the plant.
So why is it a whole lot different this time around? I mean, what?
Well, let's be honest. I mean, support for unions are really high. I think people have seen the middle class and working class get squeezed.
But I realize I'm working class. I simply want to be able to put my 40 hours a week in, have a little bit of money left over at the end of the month, and have time to enjoy my family. You know, that's really what it's all about.
To me, it feels like, personally, the whole world wants us to unionize. People recognize for the first time in a long time, on a mass scale, there's got to be some changes. And some of the power and stuff that's gone to the corporate world needs to come back to us little guys.
Here in Chattanooga, when they was able to look at the big three.
I just want to say, chat, that I'm so proud to be on this side. There's an ancient union song called "Whose Side Are You On?" Whose side are you on? And we are entering a period where this might be the last generation that has the ability to fight for power. With the automation of weapons, with the growth in surveillance, this may be the last gasp opportunity before we descend into some sort of hellhole of fascist control. Maybe I'm being excessively pessimistic, but what I mean to say is that we have an obligation to give it our all. No matter whether we win or lose, I want to know when I look back that I was on the right side.
And see how they went. That gave them, you know, that strength and say, oh, they did it and they had that big win. Let's try it again here.
What just happened with these record negotiation and contracts, what Sean Fain and them just did, is huge for everybody. It's huge for what's going on.
That victory, that just pushed a lot of people to just say, hey, you know, I want the same things that these people have up north, or if better for my family.
And you couldn't have written a better symphony for success than that. It was just instantaneous. As soon as the news broke that those record contracts happened, the floodgates just opened.
When word kind of got around the plant and cards started getting signed, it felt like a tidal wave of just like somebody had lit a match in a tinderbox.
What's different now is that people have had those losses. And they have learned from those losses, and those losses have become lessons, and they're not giving up.
Never give up.
By and large, a lot of the misinformation and the fear-mongering that came from those past anti-campaigns, it's not working this time. We know better. You know?
The anti-union people are just so much weaker this time around. People are starting to listen. People are starting to hear. People are starting to get this news back and do their own research and change their mind. Like, I've had anti-union people Like, I didn't flip them, I didn't talk to them and they changed their mind. They changed their mind. Nothing's more.
That's very important to remember that, chat. Very important to understand. This is how persuasion happens. Persuasion doesn't just happen because I made the best argument, because I have made flawless arguments in the past for a lot of shit and people didn't change their minds. And I don't say that to be an egomaniac. I say that from the position of just logical coherence. It was airtight, and you know what? My logical argument didn't make them change their mind. Your mind is a inscrutable thing. Material conditions changed, and so people were able to change their mind. And you know what? I'm not here to make those people bend their neck to me and go, you were right and I was wrong. I just want them to change their mind and join me as a comrade and leave those bad positions they held in the past where they belong, and not to try to defend them. If you're somebody who had bad takes in the past and you come and join my community and you have good takes, I don't care about your bad takes. The only time that we're ever going to have a problem with your bad takes if you start defending who you used to be. Let who you used to be die. They already have. The only place past you exists is in your own mind. Let your bad takes go. You won't have to apologize for them if you don't defend them.
More humbling to me than that. It's like, I feel like I've just went around talking to people and it was in them all along, you know?
I think also what is different now, the community has come together and seeing that, you know, it's not, for me, I've never worked at Volkswagen, but because I know people and I'm in love with the people, what affects you affects me.
Why was it important for community leaders like yourself to be vocal in speaking out in favor of the union up at Volkswagen?
A lot of people that are here in my congregation, because of Jim Crow laws, they weren't able to be a part of unions, or their family members weren't able to be a part of unions. And so for me personally, I was able to see my paternal grandfather, Feldman Williams. He didn't have a voice, and he didn't have an organization or a union behind him to advocate on his behalf when he was sick. And so we wanted to show our support of saying, yes, this can happen in our lifetime, and the time is now.
Soon my time will be over with, and it'll be their time. And hopefully what we do here today will trickle down to the next generation and the next generation, and they'll take that power and they'll use it to their advantage.
There are so many things in this society that we see as this is the best we can do. And I think people should start thinking, challenging that narrative. And hopefully, I hope that this sends that message.
You know, genuine hope is really hard to come by, but every now and then you meet a group of people who are hell-bent on building the kind of power that can really change things, no matter how badly corporations or their politicians want them to stay the same. And you know it when you see it. I first saw it in Detroit. I saw it again here in Chattanooga. And if this momentum that workers are building across the country continues, we'll see it in Alabama and Kentucky, Missouri, South Carolina. It'll go as far as people take it.
I hope if the Mercedes people see me talking right now, we know they're going to win theirs too. And Chattanooga is rooting for them big time.
Sean Fain, you know, he says, you know, next time these contracts come up, it's not going to be the Big 3. It's going to be the Big 12.
If we can negotiate a contract, if we can blaze the trail, it's going to show them that all these lies they've been told are what they are, lies. They're just trying to scare you. They're just trying to exploit you. I don't care how good your workplace is. You should be unionized. You should have protections. You should have representation. Yeah. Simple as that.
Hi, thanks for watching our video. If you like this story and you want more stories like this, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel to get more Perfect Union in your feed. And if you have stories that you want us to investigate, drop them in the comments below.
Beautiful. So there you have it, folks. What a day.